Do you think actually that we're going to get more than 7 games this year? Because I'm really scared of that registry we got in the recruitment and everything.
Well, I think it's hard to say. I mean, I think 7 is the number that a lot of people are landing on with Auburn. To me, if you're realistic, the losses are easy to figure out. I think the losses are Penn State, Georgia, Alabama. You start there, and at LSU, I think would be another loss. That would be 4. At A&M would be 5, and then is Auburn going to be able to navigate at Arkansas and a couple of tough home games? So I think 7. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, some of it depends on other schools. I'm not overly optimistic, and that is not a shot at Bryan Harsin. It's just a shot at what Gus Malzahn left behind.
Exactly, because I like what Brian done at Boise State. And I think if he brings that to Auburn and get the recruits that we are capable of getting.
But Joe, you need to answer me. You need to answer this question for me because you've been there a while. You know.
Okay.
I don't know if and again, this is his first year, and he's really unknown to a lot of young high school players in the South. But the question,
that's gonna be a problem.
The question that I think you have to ask objectively is, can he recruit consistently and in large numbers the type of players Auburn needs to compete with Alabama and Georgia?
That's going to be his problem right there, from coming and not being any type of association with the SEC and the schools around here.
Now,
but if you look at his record of what he did at Boise State,
but the two of us can recruit a handful of elite players to Auburn. I mean, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of great players that want to go to Auburn for a lot of reasons. In addition to it being an incredible school, a phenomenal atmosphere, but you can't measure Bryan Harsin on anything other than Georgia and Alabama. Those are his 2 biggest rivals, and nobody's keeping up with them right now. I mean, nobody. So he has. I mean, Malzahn at times could run with the big dogs. He didn't do it enough, though.
But look, let me ask you this. Okay, you maybe know more about Brian than I do. You remember when I called you and I was so upset with Malzahn because at that time I had been out in Texas, and the number 1 quarterback recruit out of Texas had not even been recruited by Auburn, had even really heard of Auburn. And I had talked to him, and he said he would talk to Malzahn and would love to come to Auburn, and I couldn't get nobody on Auburn staff to talk to him. Do you think Brian would do that?
No, I don't think he would, because I think and here's why. He has Mike Bobo and Derek Mason, who are his coordinators, and they have both been in the SEC for a very long time. So I think they will.
You know how I feel about both of them. Mason, I love him to death. I think he's one of the best there is. And I think that Brian is bringing in the support that he needs to put us where we need to be.
I don't know whether this is going to work or not. I'm just being straight. But for it to work, he has to show that he can recruit. Otherwise, we're wasting our time.
Yeah, that's true. It all comes down to recruiting.
It really does. I mean, do I think he's a good coach? Yes. I mean, there's no question. This is a really smart coach. I like his demeanor. We've talked to him 5 or 6 times here, and every time he is a straight shooter. I think he's going to be an inspirational coach, a high-quality, high-character coach. But ultimately, we're talking Auburn here. I don't need to tell you, Joe. And, it goes back to the philosophy of Pat Dye. What worked at Auburn, and that philosophy still needs to be employed. And, it's just, he picked a bad time to show up at Auburn with what Saban is doing and what Kirby Smart is doing.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.